Hi, my name is Vince Su. I'm the founder of Press Start Studios in Hong Kong, and I'm the lead curator for Games for Change in Hong Kong. In a world driven by speed, scale, and ever-increasing computing power, what if the next big breakthrough isn't more, but better? Better alignment, deeper co-creation, more meaningful resident impact. Dina Beininger is a visionary futurist, founder of Charisma Nova, and executive director at Aloha's Regenerative Foundation, with over 25 years at the intersection of innovation, strategy, and creativity. Today, she invites us to explore resonance, nature's built-in design code, and how it can unlock the collective genius needed to create transformational change. Join me in welcoming Dina.
Why are you here today? This is not a rhetorical question. Why are you here today? I'll tell you why I'm here. Not only because Susanna Pollack is a dear friend of mine whom I know from a former life when I ran a television festival in Switzerland, but because 2 years ago I was invited in Copenhagen at Peace Day at the UN Youth Island to give a keynote on the topic Impact Strategy. How to utilize brand and business strategy, art and creativity, and a multi-platform communication to accelerate the SDGs, the Sustainable Development Goals. But just 2 days before my talk, it was the General Assembly of the United Nations, and Antonio Guterres announced it was a halftime of the SDGs, and he said that we have achieved only 15% of the set goals, 1-5. And he also asked to turn up the tempo. He called everyone, not just policymakers, not just activists, but just all industries, creatives included, to come up with ideas how to accelerate the achievement. The Sustainable Development Goals have been agreed upon by 197 countries. Everyone in the world, we can say, agreed that we need to do something collectively to not only stop climate change, but to improve quality of life for everyone on Earth. And Mark Buckley, whom you will see later today, has even written a manifesto where he also spelled out the vision. What do we need, actually, to understand how to achieve these 17 Sustainable Development Goals? However, although he gave a vision and the 17 Development Goals paint out a vision, the question is, how can we synchronize the efforts? And do we really share the same vision? Join me in an experiment. Close your eyes just for 30 seconds and imagine your home. How it looks like, what colors are there, how you feel, who is there, what fragrances are there, sounds. Now please open your eyes and tell me, raise your hand, who had this image in mind? Look around. One person. And that's the problem. Because we say all countries in the world do want to save the planet, but we do not share the same vision. We do not experience it as our home. And here on screen you see a quote by Antoine Saint-Exupéry, who says, if you want to build a ship, do not drum up the men and give orders, but tell them about the vastness of the great sea. So we need a unified vision. But also, we almost need magic to accomplish what we have set with the 17 Development Goals until 2030. Now, I remind you, it's 2025, June, end of June. My daughter is 13 years old, and we have an evening ritual where we dream about the future. And one of her recent questions was, "Mom, what's the difference between magic and non-magic?" And we took off in a rabbit hole of questions of what ifs. And we came up
Holy fudge.
The conclusion was, what differentiates magic and non-magic is actually the speed of manifestation. If you see a house get built throughout many months, you would say it's just regular construction. But if you just snap your fingers and it's right there, we call it magic. So, is it really magic, or is it some law of nature that we have still not tapped into? But one is sure, we definitely need to accelerate and to scale our efforts. But we also need to look for new ways in order to get new results. Art. I'm an artist myself. I've been trained as an artist for 10 years, practiced art in different forms. And art has a very special role. It's not taken seriously. That's one advantage of art, but it's not only allowed to break the rules, it's also invited to break the rules, but stay unpunished. You might even get a new reward if you do it the right way. Art means freedom. Freedom to think beyond the boundaries of the given constraints. This is the Last Judgment by Michelangelo in the Sistine Chapel. It has been painted during the Renaissance, and little do we know that it was exactly painted while the Spanish Inquisition was the most active. But what did Michelangelo do? He closed himself in the Sistine Chapel for many months, and he painted the whole wall behind the altar with all the saints and notable personalities out of the Bible, all naked. How he could allow himself to do something like that, and what was his point? He used the medium of art to shake the norms. He stayed alive because he was really famous and wanted and paid by the church, but art gives us a tool which hasn't been really utilized enough to accelerate change, to manifest something beyond what are the given constraints of today in many fields of life. So, if we want to achieve the Sustainable Development Goals and also forget about the goals, just to realize better life on Earth for everyone, we need to move away from just linear thinking and incremental improvement into exponential. Have you heard of grafting? Do you know what's grafting? It's ennobling a grown tree, for example, with a new variety. So we use the grown plant so that it can give better fruits sooner. We don't have to wait 10 or 15 years until it can give full fruits. So how can we use this principle today for many things, including being at this festival, Games for Change? Play is a very, very interesting state of mind, I would say. There is scientific research which proves that it takes around 400 repetitions to learn a certain skill, but only 10 to 20 if it's done during play. So play is a very special state of consciousness that allows us to learn things faster. Why is this important? And what does it have to do with grafting? As we have heard also yesterday several times, there is a huge gaming community worldwide, 3.32 billion of gamers, active as of today. We heard that, and also the title of this conference is Games for Change. Games for Good, AI for Good, we've heard about that. This is not a new idea, but my talk today is a call to all of you, game developers, also funders, to utilize this very powerful function of gaming and to interfere into the flow of the player and bring in a new sprout of an idea. How can we create a better world, and how can we spread this idea around the world? If we do it in the gaming community, with one snap, we have reached 3.32 billion of people. So, what is the difference between exponential and quantum leap? This is Nikola Tesla, one of the most acknowledged scientists of our age, and many things that we have today, including electricity and all devices, are thanks to his inventions. But what he has said, and it's less known, is that if you want to understand the secrets of the universe, you have to think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. So here we come to the principle of resonance. We heard about resonance in the opening speech, and it's a law of nature. It's not just in music. It's in physics, it's in medicine. These are cymatic images. That means the effect of sound on matter. Not AI. This is nature, nature's design, mathematically precise. It's not playing. How can I play it?
The film you're about to see has no characters. If you spare a little of your imagination, it is a film to describe to you the effect of cymatic frequencies on matter. Everything owes its existence solely and completely to sound.
So 2 years ago, the Resonance Project.Earth was born. It is based on humming as the most universal language we humans speak. Why? If you agree with something, you say, mm-hmm. If you disagree, you say, mm-mm. If you taste something really delicious, you say, mmm. And it's for everyone around the world. So you can go on the other side of the world, never heard the language spoken there before, and you can have a conversation based on humming. It's well researched about the effects on the nervous system, on the physiology of humans, but we have started it as a global movement and powerful tool for transformative action. Why? Because when the individual is in peace and with physiology that is conducive to health and harmony and peace, then with whomever they would interact, they would have better conversations. This is the Resonance app, which we are launching later this year, a tool to be distributed around the world to help as a tuning fork to individuals and communities to tune into a beneficial frequency. It is about to be deployed also in schools as help for teachers to help their students come more in peace, to concentrate better, to use it actually as a Trojan horse of 30 seconds and have transformative experience. And now I would invite you for a short exercise. First, please close your ears with your fingers, and before you close it, just here, you just do this on one breath and then open your ears. Please. Okay, now turn to your neighbor and speaking simultaneously, just say, why are you here today? But don't listen really what they say, just pay attention to the sound in the room, just right now, quickly. Just talk to each other. Why are you here today? All right. Now, think about why are you here today, and let's hum together along this tune. Pay attention now to the room. What does this do? It helps us come on the same wavelength and collaborate better, make better decisions. We are here to this festival to design for tomorrow or design the future. But what almost never is said, yes, we say the future is designed today, but how is it designed? By making decisions. Every decision we make today individually and collectively within our organizations and worldwide is the method. How do we design the future? So if we balance ourselves as individuals and if we balance our energy and frequency before every meeting, before every lunch at home, before the meeting of the United Nations, rest assured, whoever does that will make better decisions for their life and for each other. So the Resonance Project.Earth has been established to try to cultivate a global culture of conducive to well-being, of peace, well-being and prosperity, abundance.
This sound is made by 100 human voices, becoming one sound that connects us all for a moment. Yet there is something more. Everything that lives in the world is united by one thing: water. The vibration of the voices creates shapes on the water surface, wave patterns of harmony that we find everywhere in nature. You are, and everything that lives with you here in this world is sound, vibration, waves, resonance. You are sound. We are one.
So, as a takeaway for you for today, take it as a small Swiss knife, something that you can do at home, in your shower, while driving, before a meeting, as I said, before lunch, or before making a big decision. And try to tune in. And I don't say this just like that. I've tried this, and within the Aloha's Regenerative Foundation, we have been doing this for 2 years at the biggest events worldwide, at the World Economic Forum, the United Nations, the Dubai Future Forum, the climate conferences. And we just crash the scene and start whatever keynote or conversation with a humming, collective humming. I will not tell you how it went for us, but try it and maybe go to the website and send us a message how it was for you and bring it forward. And every day think, why are you here today? Before you start your day. And what is the difference that you can make with your existence?